Oh, are you guys having problems? I'm back. If we keep getting this crap though, we'll just close it for today. We will shut her down, and I will go hunting for new computers in a desperate bid to attempt to. So let's just make a shadow. Shadows are grayed out, so using a little bit of our brown liner means that we should be able to mix a perfectly acceptable shadow. Back to say bye. Alright, guys. That's fine. It's just been painful today. I understand. Painful. So I'm mixing this darker grayed out color so that I can shade at the top of the face there. We're going to hope that the internet or the computer or the OBS or whatever the heck is getting us down is going to hang out for and be okay for just a little longer. So I'm just mixing this dark grayed out color. Yeah, I'll bear on Saturday. Yeah, we got him base coated, and I've spent a little time over the last couple nights experimenting with some patterns for his feathers on his head. So I kind of have to look and see where my shadow is, right over the eyes really. Might need to darken this just a little bit to get it to show up because I thinned it a lot. But yeah, I'll probably work on the owlbear again this week, Bryce. Tomorrow already, wow. Yeah, I feel like I lost half the week thanks to those shots and my reaction to them. And just like trying to get back into the groove of everything. So I'm just going to shade down the skin right under the hat. Yeah, he's in the other room where I'd get him out. But yeah, we'll work on owlbear tomorrow. Alright, so we've got that darker shadow painted on the skin. There's going to be a natural shadow that's cast anyway from the hat. Technically, this side of the face is also a little bit more shadowed, so I could take this dark color and paint it over this area to essentially sell that light a little bit more. Yeah, speaking of all my media there, the Patreon, I'm probably going to do some stuff on colored metallics. I'll work with the ReaperCon colored metallics first, but I haven't really done a lot on our colored metallics. So I'll probably do a couple months worth of colored metallics things. And then maybe I'll do something on the Proacryl. Maybe I'll get a couple more colors from PJ and see how I feel about them. Bring up a little bit of feature here. But yeah. And one thing we can do is use our liner to shade the bottom part of that lip, but it can look very artificial, so I am going to mix in a little bit of skin tone and just use it as a shadow. Defining the lip can make it easier to give the mouth an expression. She has a very wide lower lip though, so we may end up minimizing it a little bit rather than maximizing it. And Kiki is sitting here staring through the gate going, "Mom." Are you sitting here staring through the gate, Keeks? What are you doing? I hope you're not eating something you oughtn't. She's really been a dingo lately. She has been a demon dog. Like, we're rethinking renaming her Cerberus. Because that be what she is lately. So just a little bit of shading and sculpting on the face. Yeah, I didn't like them when they first came out, Bryce, but I'm willing to give them another shot. But I should get a couple more colors than just the red if I'm going to do that. A little bit of shading around the nose to bring out features. Only tried blue. Blue is your test color now. Yeah, I grabbed the Pure Red because I always like a new pigment, to play with new pigments that I don't have in other colors. So. Plus, red is always my chosen color anyway, if I'm going to assess a paint line. Because red pigments can be kind of dicey. Like, what they choose for what they're doing with their reds. Just going to put a little bit of a darker shadow even under the eyes. Eye ridge. Her eyes are going to be very dark. That's a problem with hats. So that tends to really shade the figure's face. You don't get as much face out of it. So you either have to embrace that. You know, either you ignore it or you embrace it, right? It's one or the other. Either you ignore it entirely and just paint it like it's normal, or you embrace it and you accentuate the cast shadow and make her look more mysterious, right? Yes, that was the problem I had with them, Quindy. The first time I tried them, the color shift was not good. So that was the issue I had, and I really don't like paint that does that. So I was kind of shocked when I saw how much they changed. So I'm like, well, again, I'll give it another chance and see. All right, so we've got all of that blocked in. Our skin tones are at least blocked. We don't have a highlight yet. We could do one layer of highlight probably before stream is done. So let's do that. I tend to like to use yellow whites to highlight skin with. Lately, Osirian Sand is my go-to. I really like it. It's a lot like a Vallejo Ivory. So we've got just a little bit, a couple of brushfuls of color. And we'll put that off-white in there. That's going to shift it. You can see the difference between the two is significant. And since I'm putting in an off-white, even though I thinned it a lot with that brush full of water, it's still going to be pretty strong. I feel like we're off kilter a little bit here. There we are. Much better. Let's test this out. And even if I did decide to do stockings or something on the skin here, I would still highlight it first before doing a stockings effect on it. There isn't a lot of room to do an actual lace pattern. Like fishnets would be pretty much the only thing I could do on this leg here. You need, if you're going to do a pretty elaborate stocking pattern, you need more room on a 28 to be able to do that. David has embraced me taking over the 3D printing duties. He ran out to the garage last night to rip hard drives out of his old system so that he could put them into his new computer so that he could put all our STL files on them. Yeah, we're back. We've been back for a little bit, Slayer. At least for now, crossing fingers. I'm going to try to finish one highlight on all the skin. Yep, color shift and shiny finish, yep. Yeah, because then the matte sealer is going to change everything else too. That's the problem. So I'm just going to highlight the top of the leg there just a little bit. The leg here is behind the kitty, but we can still put maybe a tiny bit of highlight on the interior top. Just to bring it out a little. Yeah, hopefully Reaper never changes the formulation of the paints because right now it's really the only line I can do really good layering with. Everything else I have to fight. So that's the only thing that could make me actually create a paint line again would be if MSP changes and I'm like, dang it. So a little bit of highlight on top of the hand here. Go around to the back. Don't even speak to the universe, okay? Sorry. So I will highlight the back where you've got the kind of where the bones of the hand are. I'll highlight the knuckles because they tend to stick out. For a first highlight, and that'll help to bring everything out. Here the top of the hand is facing upwards, so I'm going to put a pretty uniform highlight over the entire top of the hand. MSP is perfect the way it is, yes. Yeah, I always try other paint lines, and sometimes there are like colors that will make their way into my rotation, but it's like really because I'm so happy with the consistency of MSP and the way it acts that I like a color might make it in like like the Queen of Credone red from Scale Color. This thing, I love this thing. But and of course the burnt umber. Also love that thing. Love it. Have 2 tubes of it now. But other than that, like it's really a color. Like I'll reach for a color from another line because I like the color. But otherwise, it's pretty much all MSP, and I'll mix MSP into these other paints to make them behave more like I want them to. Yeah, a little bit of the cheekbone here, a bit of the jawline here. Oh, no, I destroyed a lot of clothing in the paint department. I would pretty much just wear my oldest stuff in the paint department. And I went through a lot of t-shirts. Like, there would be days when I would get 0 paint on myself, and I would be like, oh, I'm safe to wear. I really want to wear this shirt today. I'm safe to wear this shirt today. And then I would have this huge splash, and it would just destroy. Like, usually, though, it wasn't, like, one big destroy. It was just little specks of paint that built up over time. Because I am pretty neat. Like, both with, handling my paint on my palette, but also in the paint department. It was very rare that I would have a big sploosh. Like, I would have to be really tired or something to have a big accident, because I was just careful, But, yeah, I slowly ruined a number of shirts over time. And once the shirt had a little speck of paint on it, then it was just a paint department shirt, so it would go into a rotation. Jennifer Haley and I used to joke that we had like 3 classifications of, and she wasn't even paint department, but she was just like messier with her paint than I was. But we have 3 classifications of clothing. The clothing that is completely trashed and like, you know, like totally pink clothing, the clothing that has just a couple specks of paint on it so you could still wear it to the grocery store if you really wanted to, and the stuff you never wear anywhere near your paint because you're preserving it. Right, yeah. MSK is my core, and then I just supplement with whatever other colors or effects I'm looking to use. So we've got that side of the face coming out. You can see the other side of the face is in shadow. We did have time to actually do a layer of highlighting on the skin, so yay. I do need to still bring in some shadows on the skin, like some rosy tones on the skin. It's reading pretty flat right now, which is typical with 28 millimeter if you don't add those rosy tones. Europe, Pendrake. Some people don't like AK. They do a lot of solvent-based stuff that I avoid. I haven't really used a lot of their stuff. Otherwise, I think I have some of their water effect stuff. I picked up some water effect stuff to play with it. Yep, kidney dialysis machines, yep. They're not used for filtering the paints, they're used for pumping them, Turgeon. It allows you to, because the viscosity settings are correct. And that's the old school, that's Tiamat that we use that on. That's not how Audrey works. So, but yeah, that's the old school. That's Reaper. That was Reaper's solution when Al and Ed were jury rigging a MacGyvering together a solution for their paint pumping needs. Hello, Lummox Beast. Yep, we're all nerding out. It's the end of the stream, so we're just kind of chatting. But yeah, I think I bought some AK like water effects stuff because I'm always up for like different like water effects and gel mediums and all that kind of thing because it might actually give me a solution if I'm trying to build a diorama base or something like that. So that is why. But she's coming. She's come along. We do need those rosy tones in her skin tones. I need to figure out what I'm using for her corset here. I mean, I was going to go cream with it because I want the kitty to stand out. And I'm still leaning toward like a cream or a lighter leather. Yeah. See, it's taken like, what, 15 years? But companies are finally realizing that MSP is worth copying. Like, they're getting it now. They're getting it. Like, okay, so now all the new generation acrylics are going to be more MSP. And then another 10 or 15 years will pass, and somebody will come out with a high coverage, like a super high coverage. They'll use new tech. It'll be super high coverage, one coat, awesome paint, blah, blah, blah. And then it'll take, like, more time for those. Then it'll swing back the other way. Like, everything is cyclical. I was just lucky that nobody else was doing this at the time I was doing MSP. So Reaper got a head start on the market as far as taking advantage of translucency and the viscosity, lower viscosity rather than higher viscosity and stuff like that. But now other companies are starting to copy Reaper. So now it'll be what's going to be the next thing. Yeah. Well, it's like as people started doing like more mixing, like the Chimera colors have transparents in them, right? They weren't afraid to put transparents in there. They realize that transparent colors are, it's not a detriment. It's a feature. You just got to learn to use it. But yeah, you can't go that direction without going toward transparency. And once you go toward transparency, you're like, well, do I really need this high viscosity, or do I want to make my paints easier to use right out of the bottle? Like, and I was already there 15, 17, 20 years ago, 18 years ago. I think I started like it was 1 year before I jumped into it, really, before we really did the first of the I think it was the first ReaperCon we had the prototypes. Oh yeah, I mean, imitation is the best form of flattery. Like, I'm just bemused that they all clung to the coverage for so long. Because you still get decent coverage with MSPs. You can still base coat with MSPs. It's not like they're bad for it. It's just like you don't get that super one coat coverage, which many paints that work for viscosity don't get anyway, to be fair. I just made the paint line I wanted. Like, that's it. Like, I made the paint line that I wanted for my style, and I'm amused that now more and more people are, like, looking for that kind of quality. But, like I said, you go back and forth. Like, every paint line has something different to recommend it. And just because Scaled Color Artist is in tubes and ultra thick doesn't mean I don't use it, right? Like, there are just some colors that are completely unique that I absolutely adore that I'm going to use no matter what. So it's just that I have to work with them a lot more to get them to the stage where I can actually, like, use them for some stuff. So nothing is bad. Everything just has a different way of working with it. And MSP isn't superior. It just was made to work with the kind of techniques that at the time I made it, everybody was using in mini painting. Now it's a little different. But even with the rise of textures, you know, being more, one would argue, sought after in many ways than smoothness, it still holds up. So you still want to be able to thin your paint. You know, you still want to be able to use glazing without having to, like, thin forever if you're me. So, yeah, it's like that. So what are we doing on Monday? On Monday, we are back. Oh, boy. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was looking at doing some interesting stuff on this lady. Because I actually base coated with the blue. Now I have to remember what I was actually trying to do, right? It's funny. Yeah, but I was doing a bit of the leather texture here on the side of that boot. So I'm going to have to question if I want to put some... I think I was just pretty much starting my leather with the blue, as I recall. Yeah. So we'll do more leather working on this model on Monday. We'll keep bringing up that great texture that we got down here, and we'll fill out all that leather and look at what parts of this model are really going to be metal. I think there's only a few places that I want metal on this model. But she's coming along really well. She won't take that long to finish out, I think. But yeah, elfiness. Elfiness. So we'll have elfiness on Monday. And yes, I will be streaming tomorrow on my own channel on twitch.tv/paintingbig. And we'll be doing Owlbear. I'll be working on Owlbear. Well, I mean, it's probably going to be 2 or 3 different... You'll have to knit them together. And you could just take all the VODs, throw them in a video program, and make them one. Even I know how to do that, and I'm a complete noob with video. Ah, dear. Ah! Eek! But yeah, sorry for all the interruptions, guys. And I will once again start looking for off-lease aftermarket laptops to replace this one on the chance that it's like the network card on this system that's screwing up. So, but I'm glad we got it to work just so we can finish out the stream. And hopefully, I will see a fair number of you on my stream tomorrow. Finger hearts. And hey, you got to see the new cover Turgeon, so. You just put, oh, okay, big chunks and put them in part 1. Yeah, that works too. Less work, right? All right, thanks everybody for everything. Yeah, you have a great day too, Turgeon. And I'm going to work on book today. It's book day. I'm going to do a little bit of PDFing for Patreon, but mostly it's book day. So yay, book day. So yes, yeah, Albert tomorrow. For Owlbear tomorrow. As I will see you later. Have a great one, everybody. Bye-bye.